What's up, guys? So, Corvette still doesn't run. I've done a bunch of stuff to it, chased down some trouble codes I was having, some diagnostic trouble codes. You guys saw some of my previous videos. I've done oxygen sensors, EGR valve, map sensor, throttle position sensor, idle air control valve, all kinds of stuff. I don't know if it's like a timing issue or another issue that's going on with it, but something I've been contemplating doing has been pulling the engine and building a stroker, a 383 LT1 Stroker, or possibly a 396. I'm looking for something with tons of torque, a bit of power, and honestly, I just want it to be faster than my Focus, because I've been doing a lot of work to my Focus, and it's quick. So I need my 1994 Corvette with 300 horsepower stock to have a little bit more than that. And I think building a stroker, something could change. I tend to change my mind a lot doing stuff like this, but right now the plan is stroke this, build it up, do a coil unplug conversion, get rid of the OptiSpark, just do a bunch of different things to it. Bigger throttle body, cam, I'm gonna send the heads out, get some head work done, intake work done, really put some money into this thing to make it fun. This is going to be a long project. This is not gonna be a 1 video project or 2 video project or a 3-month project. This is going to take some time, as I am planning on finishing this up maybe around May, June, July. It's not gonna be quick. I'm gonna take my time. I'm not in a hurry. So I've got my Focus, got my pickup, got my wife's Cadillac. We got vehicles I can drive. So I'm not in a hurry to get this done. I wanna take my time with it. Make sure I get this thing done the way I want it. And I want it to be pretty quick. So we're gonna do some stuff. I've already done a lot of work to this car. For you guys that have watched, I've lowered the car, I've done suspension work to it, done the brakes on it, all kinds of fun stuff. Now it's time to do that engine work. So I'm gonna start this video. It's gonna be one of, I don't know how many in a series of me doing this, but I'm going to walk you guys through the process as I pull it apart, take it to the machine shop, have the work done, send everything out, and then put everything back together. You guys are gonna watch that with me. Be sure to leave any suggestions, comments, thoughts down below. Let me know what you guys think of this project. Are you excited about it? I'm excited about it. I'm stoked. I'm pumped. I cannot wait, guys. This is gonna be fun. If you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button. I appreciate the support. Like the video, all that good stuff. Now, to get this thing started, we're gonna have to pull this hood off. I wanna give myself tons of room, so I'm gonna pull that big, massive hood off. And honestly, I've already disconnected the wire. There's a plug down here. This thing here is this little groove bracket thing. It sits on that bracket right back in there. So I've disconnected that. I've disconnected this one, which is for the hood lights right there. So now all of those are disconnected on both sides. And now the only thing I've really got to do is I'm gonna have to pull this rod off. Now I'm gonna have to disconnect these bolts right there to disconnect the hood from this bracket. And I said, I've never done this before, but I'm not sure if it's just those 4 bolts or if I'm gonna have to disconnect down there and take it off. We're gonna find out. So that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna unbolt this really quick. I'm gonna pull this hood off, and I'm gonna probably put it right there. I got the moving blanket out on top of the car. I'm gonna set it there for now. It's not the most ideal place. Like, I should probably use this big space here behind me, but it's winter, snowy, icy. I parked my other vehicles here, so I think we're gonna put it on top of the car for now. All right, so I got the bolts off. You can see this bracket right here is kind of coming off. We're just holding it up, and right now I'm gonna remove this rod, and there's just a little groove in the top here. I'm using the screwdriver to pry it in. I'm gonna pop this off, but I can't hold the camera and do this at the same time. So when I come back, the hood's gonna be off. The hood's off. We're making progress. Now we just gotta take all the other stuff out of the car too. But that's progress. I'm trying to decide if I want to pull the whole front of the car off, like just pull everything off to give me really easy access to this. While I'm in here, I want to do a couple different things. I'm gonna do the exhaust. I'm gonna put headers on it, get rid of the factory gas recirculating system. I'm just gonna junk that. I might upgrade the radiator, put a bigger radiator in there and stuff too. The one that's in here is kind of new though. I had to replace it a few years back. I'm gonna do something different with the airbox. The way that's done, I'm gonna do something totally different. I don't know what, but something. Clean it up, make it look very pretty, and just have fun with this project. Like I said, I'm not in a hurry. I got all kinds of time. 5 or 6 month plan I have for this thing. I'm gonna, like I said, take my time, no hurry. I haven't driven it in like a year and a half now anyway. And when I get it put back together and it's ready, I want it to be done the way I want it to be. I want it to be fun, exciting. I want to have a blast that first video I go out and record driving around. So from this point, we're just gonna start taking things apart. I gotta drain the coolant, drain the radiator. I'm gonna pull all that off, pull the airbox off, pull the radiator out. I'm gonna clear everything out of the front to give me as much room as possible when working on this thing. So at some point we're gonna jack it up, put it up on jack stands. Like I said, I'll probably pull the whole front of the car off, the whole clip, just to give me more room there. And then make it super simple to get in there, to the motor mounts, to the exhaust, to everything I need to pull this thing apart. So that's what we're gonna start doing. And I'm gonna start by just pulling out the whole airbox assembly here, pull off the mass airflow sensor, disconnect everything there. Gonna give me access to the radiator shroud, I'll pull that off. Give me access to the radiator below, I'll disconnect that, pull that out. But this is kind of where we're gonna start, is at the very front right here. Then right down here on the driver's side, this is the air recirculating pump. That's for the exhaust. That's gonna come out. We're not gonna use that, so we're gonna pull that out. We're gonna replace the headers with some aftermarket headers. So we won't need this emission system at all, so I'm gonna pull all that out here. All right, so we got the air pump out. Now we just got this one hose that runs up to the exhaust system up that way, but we'll worry about that later. Now we're just gonna go ahead and get this shroud off for the radiator cover here. We're going to pull these relays off here. There's some bolts on the side here, and then there are some tiny little bolts down along the side. Those are kind of a pain in the butt to get to. I may end up moving the hood bracket here just to make it a little bit easier to get to. We'll see what happens as I get in there. And then once we remove the little relays right there, it's two 10mm bolts that hold it on. There's this other bolt right down there on the shroud. There was this nut here that I pulled off, and like I said, there's just those two small little bolts right down there that we got to get off on either side, and then I'll go disconnect the same things on the other side here, and we'll be able to pop this top shroud off. Kind of just a helpful tip for you guys. Since this is going to be such a long process, it would be very difficult to remember what everything is. So what I'm doing is I'm going to be using some snack size sandwich bags and a permanent marker, a Sharpie, and I'm going to be labeling this and putting bolts in it. So this could be like radiator shroud. I'm going to put all these radiator shroud bolts in it, so when I go to reassemble this, I just find the baggie that has the right stuff in it. Just a helpful little tip. So now when I go to reassemble this, there are my radiator shroud bolts and nuts all in a baggie. And I'll put these all in a box together, kind of keep them off to the side with all the parts. I'll keep them all in one location. And now I've got all those bolts out. There is a little hose I'll show you. You gotta disconnect and you can pull the shroud off. All right, we just got a couple of things left here. We're gonna have to disconnect the radiator fan assembly from the shroud. It's just these bolts along the top here. It's like 5 or 6. And then we've got to disconnect this one hose right here, because you can see it kind of comes through the assembly right there. So we'll have to disconnect this one, and then this whole entire top shroud piece will come right off. And honestly, I changed the radiator a few years ago. I should have taken the hood off of the car when I did it, because this is the easiest way to get to this. So if you're gonna change your radiator, take your hood off. All right, so once it's all disconnected, this is the shroud. There is this little plug right down here that runs up to the inside of the shroud right there. It connects to that guy there. We just gotta disconnect that and we can pull the shroud all the way out. But that then gives you access to your radiator, your condenser, all that fun stuff there. which we will be removing. That's going to be in a future video, guys. For now, this is what I'm doing. Like I said, subscribe to the channel, follow along on the progress, leave comments down below, let me know what you think. It's going to be a big series of videos, lots of videos on doing this. So stay tuned, and until next time. And like I said, I am not in any hurry to get this done. So if I get to a point where I get frustrated, I'm just gonna stop working on it. Like I said, the videos will probably be short and sweet, kind of like this one. I won't make them super long. Maybe, we'll see what happens. But now it's a good time to grab me a nice cold beverage and call it a night, so.